So Kuki Shinobu just came out and I wanted to share some details I noticed about her character and lore. One of the notable things with the Arataki gang is that the members often find themselves being arrested for various actions they do to promote the gang. From unauthorized flyers over the city walls to playing their drums loud into the middle of the night, the gang is generally well liked by the people of Inazuma, but they're often at odds with the Tenryou Commission and government officials, most notably Kujo Sara. Maybe they don't know any better, but I think that we can describe the Arataki gang as being an organization that makes its own rules and does what they want. They do what they like of their own free will. And this is exactly why it was a strong interest for the one who would become its deputy leader, Kuki Shinobu. Shinobu's a person that dislikes following rules just because they're rules. The Kuki clan is a clan of shrine maidens, following the same rules and traditions established generations ago. So when Shinobu's parents got her to start shadowing her older sister Mayuki in shrine maiden duties, Shinobu found it boring, but also strange that people had to follow rules without knowing why. What's the point in following something you don't know or believe in? In fact, she's always been a person of her own strong will, able to think for herself and not necessarily blindly rely on others. She didn't like being a shrine maiden, where one just followed the rules without question day to day. Additionally, she found it super boring, and didn't find excitement from it. Even Yae Miko does her own publishing house hobby to get a change of pace from her shrine maiden duties. I think the lack of options presented in the Kuki clan is why Shinobu went out to explore the world and get certificates in so many skills, to have a good reputation, but also to figure out what she likes to do. Though this doesn't mean that Shinobu disrespects rules. While she understands that many rules have their purposes, she doesn't want to follow rules simply because they're rules. If a rule is in place because it helps people out, for example, then yeah, that's great. But if a rule is in place because of a vague reason, like just because it's tradition, then maybe we should be rethinking them. Something else I like about Shinobu's pursuit of different skills is that it's a good example of what chasing opportunities will do, eventually landing you somewhere you're happy at, and in her case, that was the Arataki gang. Shinobu is friends with Kujo Sara, and Sara would constantly ask Shinobu to join the Tenryou Commission because of Shinobu's skills, but Shinobu always wanted a job with real freedom. It's a little ironic that Sara's the one that first mentions the Arataki gang to Shinobu, because there's this dichotomy in their friendship where Sara's job of arresting the gang members is an antithesis to Shinobu's desire to join the gang, because it's all about the help Shinobu provides for the gang as well as the freedom to do so. Though despite how much she distances herself away from her family traditions, much of her character and design has roots in her family traditions. Naku weed is a plant that played a big role in shaping Shinobu's life views. As a child, when she was experiencing a cold at the Narukami shrine, she wrapped thorns around her body and prayed to the gods in an effort to heal. She was kind of bitter that it didn't work out as tradition said, but she later found out in an herbology book that Naku weed reduces wound inflammation. Not only was this an eye-opening fact for her, we also see that her character design has many links to Naku weed. I noticed her green hair, purple clothing, and electrovision. We can even see her scars from that Naku weed experience she had in the past. Both her elemental skill and elemental burst have relations to Naku weed and purification. With her elemental skill, she creates a grass ring of sanctification with the appearance of Naku weed, and just like Naku weed, this ring of sanctification heals the wounds of characters within it. With her elemental burst, she performs a cleansing technique, something that shrine maidens are known for. And I noticed that the names of her other abilities are interesting. Her Ascension 1 passive is called Breaking Free, so while she is free from her family traditions, she still maintains techniques from them. And despite this, her constellations 4 and 5 are named To Sever Sealing and To Seize Courtesies, respectively. Overall, I think it's just interesting how Shinobu dissociates herself with traditions, but still has many of them in her life today. So yeah, essentially a big aspect of her character revolves around being free, but also understanding some of the values of tradition. I wonder how she would have turned out had she grown up in Mondstadt, the City of Freedom. If anything, I think she'd still pursue learning different skills to figure out what she wants and to be free, but I think the slight embarrassment she has with her family in Inazuma would likely be absent in Mondstadt. And it's also likely that if Shinobu was raised in Mondstadt, she likely wouldn't be donning her Oni mask all the time, which could be her next form of freedom. But yeah, those are some of my thoughts on Kuki Shinobu. I don't think we got too much involvement from her in the story so far, but hey, I like her character and it was cool reading up about her lore and personality. With that said, we have version 2.8 coming up in a few weeks, and there's going to be story and lore involving Kazuha, Official, and even Diluc, so I'm looking forward to trying to cover some of that. And that's it for this, so thank you for watching. Take care.